Welcome to part 2 of my NEWTs readathon vlog. Okay, so I've just finished What Light, that Christmassy audiobook I was listening to by J. Asher, and I have no words. It's not a bad book. It's not a bad book. Don't think this is a bad review. It's just not the right book for me. Well, first of all, it's contemporary. I'm not really big into contemporaries. And it's a Christmas book, and it's now August, so not the right season. I'm not really sure what to think. Like, if you like contemporary books, then yes, it's a good story, I guess. Nothing really happens. See, that's the problem with it. I don't think the problem is that it's contemporary. Well, it is, but, you know, what can you do? But another problem is that nothing major happens. You know, girl meets boy, boy meets girl, and that's it. Happily ever after. Like, what? I've just finished that audiobook, so that's another one. I can't even remember what subject that's for. What light? Yes, that's for an outstanding in herbology. So, oh my goodness, I got 5 outstandings now. Yes, 5 outstandings, that's brilliant. Okay, so you might be looking at my background here and you might be wondering, why am I sitting on the floor in front of the sofa? Well, first of all, it's just comfortable. And 2, Millie is sitting in my usual spot. Yeah, Millie has taken over. So now I'm sitting here on the floor. My baby, it's alright. So yes, I'm reading now Gemina, and I'm loving it. It has the same vibe as aliebn, as the first book in the series. I can see why people would say it's like, it feels like the same story. It feels like the same as aliebn, but it's not. I think they carried on really well, because the second book in the series usually has, you know, second book syndrome. You know, it's a bit slow and nothing happens, and you know, it's just a stretched out story so you can get to the third book. But not this one. No, I'm on page 150, I think. And oh my goodness, so much has happened. I'm loving it. It is very similar to aliebn, but it's not the same story. It's not. Okay? If you haven't read Gemina yet, I really do recommend it. It is full of action. It's sci-fi, which is not something I gravitate towards usually, but I really love this series. So yes, I'm gonna keep on reading and I'll talk to you guys later. So my Goodreads challenge this year is to read 60 books. So far I've read 49. We're getting there, guys. We're so getting there. Now I've just added What Light at the bottom here. And I have a little headphone right next to it, because, you know, then I'll know which books are audiobooks, which ones are actual physical books. So yes, this is what I've read so far this year. Isn't it pretty? So yay! I think somebody's jealous of my donut. She won't stop staring. Millie! Go get your toy. Look, there's your toy right there. Go get your toy. Leave me alone to enjoy my donut. Okay, so I thought I'd just update you guys. I'm trying to read Gemina, but Millie, as you can see, is lying on top of me. And she won't let me read, because every time I try to read, she licks my book. Like, what the heck, Millie? I want to read. And look, she's just looking now at everything. Yeah, oh, okay, okay, look, she's just going to lie down here. Are you going to sleep? Are you going to sleep, baby? Are you going to let me read? You better let me read. Where's the dog, Millie?
Acabei. Não, tô usando essa mão aqui, a esquerda.
Okay, so I know it's been a while. Today is actually the 23rd. The 23rd of September. It's been almost a month since the NEWTs finished, but I moved. I started my university course. It's very intense. If you've been here for a while, well, if you've been here for like more than a week or so, then you know I'm in a very stressful place in my life right now. But I'm trying to stay positive. I'm trying not to panic. And even though this is late, I'm still doing it. Because I can't just have a part 1 of a vlog. I need to have a part 2, you know, I have to finish it off. I can't just leave it, you know. So, here we go. Okay, so just to summarize my NEWTs. I have everything here, as you can see. Look at that, all the books I've read. Isn't it beautiful? It's so pretty. I'm so proud of this. So anyway, let's get down to business. Okay, so I have in total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 outstandings. I have an outstanding in Care of Magical Creatures, Charms, Transfiguration, Defense Against the Dark Arts, Herbology. 5 outstandings, which is a total of 15 books, which is not too bad, you know, for a month, yeah. But we're not ending there, no, but there's more. I also got an Exceeds Expectations in Divination, because I read 2 books in Divination, so Exceeds Expectations. And I also got an Exceeds Expectations in Arithmancy. Is that how you say it? That's how I'm going to say it. Arithmancy. The maths bit. I could not finish my first book for History of Magic, so that doesn't count. So I failed my History of Magic NEWTs. I'm sorry. Can't read them all. I am still reading that book for History of Magic. History of Magic, yeah. But I am reading that book for History of Magic. I'm still reading it. I'm taking my time with it because I have no time or energy to read at the moment. But bit by bit, I'm gonna get through this. I'm almost halfway through. Well, I'm about a third through. I don't know. But I'm going to read this. It's really good, actually. Anyway, it's a really good book from a really good series. You should go check it out. Okay, and then I have an acceptable for Ancient Runes with Anne of Green Gables. Actually, I finished Anne of Green Gables a couple of days later, so that doesn't count. Okay, so let's do this. 5 outstandings, 2 exceeds expectations. That's it, yeah. Okay, so I've read a total of 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 books. Hooray! So I read 19 books for my NEWTs, and I had so much fun, seriously. I'm gonna try and do a quick, like the fastest reviews ever, okay? Book number 1, Paddington, the cutest little book you've ever seen. If you haven't read Paddington yet, go and buy one, or go to the library and get one. Get your hands on that book because it's brilliant. It's the cutest little thing. It's so British. It's lovely. It's a cozy book, if you know what I mean. Right. Now, book number 2, Spiderwick Chronicles number 2. I read number 2, 3, 4, and 5, I think, for this readathon. I might be mixing up NEWTs with booktubeathon, but I have it all here. It's okay. It makes sense to me. Spiderwick Chronicles 2 was my Exceed Expectations for Care of Magical Creatures. There you go. I got it out. A really good series as well if you're looking for a middle grade book, a middle grade fantasy series, I'd say. It's really good as well. Really good. Especially for younger kids, like I'd say between 10 and 12. I would love to have read that series when I was that age. So yes. Next book, Dealing with Dragons. A lot of people said it was really good, and maybe because there's an element of nostalgia there for them. I didn't get that. I actually struggled to get through that book. It was fantasy, I know, like there are dragons and all that, but it was a bit too much for me. It was a bit too childish and nonsensical. I don't know, it just wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. Okay, next one, The Color of Magic by Terry Pratchett. I loved that book. But saying that, I wouldn't recommend reading 2 or 3 or 4 Terry Pratchett books in a row. It gets a bit much. So I read that one book, and then I'm going to take a break. Well, I am taking a break. And then I'm going to pick up another book of his. Really good. I highly recommend Terry Pratchett. Right, next one. The School for Good and Evil. Brilliant book. Oh my goodness. I listened to that as an audiobook, and at first I wasn't sure. It seemed a bit superficial in a way, you know, putting so much importance into physical beauty. But then you get into the story, it gets deeper and deeper. At the end, I was obsessed with the story. I had to keep on reading it, like I had to keep on listening to the audiobook. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. So yes, if you manage to get your hands on the audiobook, go for it. I highly suggest, highly recommend you signing up to Scribd, I don't know. It's only like £7 a month, and you get unlimited audiobooks. So yeah, if you want to. Okay, next one was Women in World War One, which was a non-fiction book. I don't usually read non-fiction books, but that one was brilliant. I have to say, it was meant, well, their target audience was children, so it was a very simple book. Lots of pictures, lots of illustrations, and I just loved it. There was a very important message in it. Love that book as well. Very quick to get through. Next one, Everless. I forget who it's by. Sarah Hyland? Something like that? I could be completely wrong. But anyway, Everless, where you use your blood to get more time. See, I can't remember now. It's been over a month since I read that book. I think that's what it is. And I did enjoy it, but it was a bit slow for me. The majority of the book was very, very slow. Only about, I'd say, the last quarter of the book did the main character actually get involved and realize how important she was to the plot of the story. So it was a bit slow for me for most of the book. Okay, then I read Hunted, which one was Hunted? Guys, I've read so many books, and that was so long ago. I'm getting all my books mixed up. Hunted. Oh, that was a retelling for Beauty and the Beast. I'm not sure I liked it, to be honest. It wasn't my favorite. I don't know. I was expecting more Beauty and the Beast. I was expecting it to be more true to the story, but it was not. It was completely different, and that beast really annoyed me, and the beauty also really annoyed me. I don't know, I just wasn't feeling that book. I don't know. Like, from what I can remember, I did not enjoy that book. I could be wrong. Never know. Right, next book I read was Ella Enchanted, which was so cute. It was brilliant. I think I like it almost as much as the film, and I love the film, so that's high praise right there. Yeah, really, really, really good. If you haven't read Ella Enchanted yet, please do yourself a favor and read it. It's so good. It's a retelling of Cinderella, and it's just amazing. It's set in a fantasy world, and there are elves and giants, and it's just brilliant. Brilliant. A brilliant book. Right, next one. Let's see. Another Spiderwick Chronicles book, but I've already talked about the series, so we're going to skip that one. Winnie the Pooh. I really did like that one. Winnie the Pooh is a really, it's a very innocent book, but there is always a deeper message at the end of the story. And this book was set into 4 parts, the 4 seasons of the year, so each little story was set in a particular season. And I have to say, at the end of every season there was a little message, like Christopher Robin comes and saves the day, and you know, he teaches Pooh something. I don't know. It's like, it's told in a very innocent, childlike way, but you can see there's a deeper message in there, which is always appreciated. Okay, next one was The Darkest Dark. That book was actually written by an astronaut, like a real life astronaut, and it's a picture book. It's meant for children, but it has a message that you can do whatever you want. You could be an astronaut if you wanted to. Even if you're like 5 or 6, you know, if you dream of something, you can work your way to that dream. And that was a beautiful message I found, and it just, yeah, I wasn't expecting to like a picture book that much. Okay, next one, we're gonna skip the Spiderwick Chronicles again. Next one was Gemina, the second book in the Illuminate Files series. Oh my goodness, I love that book so much. Love that series. Now I have to get my hands on the third book, Obsidio, because I'm obsessed. I need to know what's gonna happen. And yeah, if you haven't read Illuminate yet, please do. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm going to say. It's by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. It's a brilliant, it's an amazing book. Just go read it. So yes, that was Gemina. Then I read What Light, which was a bit strange because it was a Christmas book. I wasn't expecting it to be Christmassy, and a contemporary as well. I wasn't into that. I struggled through that one. Then I read Eve of Man. Brilliant book. It was it's the first book in a series, and I can't wait to see what comes up next, because that was seriously brilliant. And it's about the girl who is the first female to be born after 50 years. For 50 years, only boys were born in the whole world. Then Eve comes along, and she's seen as a savior of the human race, and so, you know, she's protected in a little bubble, quite literally. And yeah, it's just a brilliant story. You have to read it, seriously. It's quite new as well. It came out this year, so yes, go read it. Then I read Every Heart a Doorway. I did not like that. I'm sorry, I know it's a very unpopular opinion. Most people on BookTube seem to love that, but no. It was a bit too grown up. Like, I wasn't expecting that. In a way, I don't know, it gave me Miss Peregrine's vibe, if you know what I mean, like a group of orphans. I don't know, I just didn't like it. I'm sorry. No, actually I'm not sorry, because, you know, you don't have to apologize for not liking a book. Then I read Everyone is an Alien When You're an Alien Too. Now, I listened to that book, and I think some of the story just went over my head because I was listening to it and not actually looking at the illustrations, because apparently it's a book with lots of illustrations. So yeah, I think I missed out on that one, and I didn't really get the message. I don't know. Then I read Avatar, The Last Airbender. I really enjoyed that one. It's like a graphic novel. And then I read books number 1 and 2, which were brilliant. They're quick reads. They're very interesting. They're very different to everything I've read before. I haven't watched the film or is there a cartoon series? I think there's a cartoon series, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I have to research that. But yes, it's a lovely story. I've only read I can't say that word. I've only read volumes 1 and 2. I have to get my hands on the rest of the series. But yes. And that's it. All my books for Newts Readathon. I did read End of Green Gables as well, but I finished it a few days afterwards, after that, so it doesn't count. So yes, that's basically what I read in August, so that counts as an August wrap-up as well. And I think we're running out of time. This video is going to be so long, oh my goodness. Okay, I know I haven't been here in a while, but I'm glad to be back. If you like this video, you know what to do. Click that thumbs up. If you're new here, hey, you can subscribe if you want to, and if you're not new here, hi, welcome back to my channel, and I hope to see you again next time. Goodbye.